Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The former WBC champion Deontay Wilder has re-entered the WBC rankings for the first time in 5 years, the WBC installing him at number 1. So effectively, he replaces the spot that Tyson Fury occupied, Fury being his mandatory challenger for February 22nd, 2020, defeating Wilder, and Wilder now finds himself back in the top 15. So unfamiliar territory for the past 5 years. And I know some people will probably be saying, Deontay Wilder, he just got battered by Tyson Fury. Why has the WBC put him so high? Well, I guess part of the answer of that is likely there is a third fight. So some optics will be involved. They'll be looking at this going, well, he was beaten by Tyson Fury. They have a third fight. Having it at number 1 makes this a very, at least on paper, as opposed to say if he was number 6 contender, for example, number 1 sounds a lot better than number 6. So there is some optics involved here, but also I think this is the WBC paying respect to its former champion Wilder, who reigned for 5 years. The WBC, even in some comments on its website, which was slightly unusual. So see here on screen where it says Tyson Fury is the champion. So this is the piece that's above the top 40, as it were. I only cover the top 15 to get across, consistency across the different sanctioning bodies. But below the piece where it sort of outlines where Tyson Fury won, it has a quote from Tyson Fury which pays respect to Deontay Wilder, saying, "A big shout out to Deontay Wilder. He came here tonight and manned up. He really did show the heart of a champion. I hit him with a clean right that dropped him, and he got back up. He's a warrior. He will be back. He will be a champion again. But I will say the king has returned to the top of the throne." So the WBC, I believe, part of installing Wilder back at the number 1 position in the top 15 is due to, 1, the optics for the third fight, but 2, they're paying respects to him. And that quote, to me, sort of backs up my thinking on that they've put that there, because for Deontay Wilder, when he was, his photo was there and it talked about him as the champion, they certainly didn't have quotes referring to another fighter as they do for Tyson Fury. But at number 2 in the rankings, so we'll get to the rest of the list, Alexander Usyk, who is also the WBO mandatory challenger. So he is climbing high in the rankings. He's been in the WBC top 15. They were the first to rank him from memory, but he's been at number 2 for a couple of months now. And bearing in mind, this is the first update to their top 40, as it were, or top 15, which I cover. And there is some further movement down the list, some of which doesn't make complete sense to me, but we will come to that. But Usyk confirmed to fight Derek Chisora. That will be on May the 23rd. At the O2 in London. That is a very good test for Alexander Usyk. That will prove a lot of things about his position in the heavyweight division, because some fans haven't been won over yet by the former undisputed cruiserweight king. And number 3, Oscar Rivas, he holds firm this month, as does Luis Ortiz. So Ortiz is still riding high after his loss to Deontay Wilder, which was in November 2019. No opponent for Luis Ortiz yet, and that sort of seems to be a theme through his career, struggling to get some of the fights that he would like to be in. But his trainer, Herman Caicedo, has indicated that Ortiz set to be back in the ring in July and then possibly December. Who against? Well, that's the open question. Andy Ruiz Jr. also indicating he's got a fight coming up potentially in August. He wanted a tune-up, then he would consider a Luis Ortiz fight. So I don't see Ortiz and Ruiz getting in the ring anytime soon. It doesn't sound like Ruiz Jr. is really that interested in that fight. So the first of the real movements within the rankings. So Joseph Parker, following his win over Shaundell Winters in Frisco, Texas, February 29th, he is up a couple of places this month, which is a little surprising that he's had a boost off the back of what was effectively a tune-up win. But I guess some of that is down to the going up 2 places instead of maybe just 1. Adam Kovnarski had been at the number 6 spot previously. He lost to Robert Helenius, dumped out of the top 15 altogether. So in their top 40, he's fallen from number 6 to number 17. And I'll discuss Robert Helenius a bit later, because he hasn't made the top 15 after beating Kovnarski in decisive fashion. But another guy that's on the move this month, or should I say since the last update 2 months ago, is Daniel Dubois. So he is up 4 places from number 11 spot. He holds the WBC silver title. And I was a little surprised when they did their former update in January that they didn't have Dubois higher than number 11, given he had the silver title. Obviously, they've decided he needs to be higher, and perhaps some of that is down to his upcoming fight on April the 11th against Joe Joyce. At number 8 is Filip Hrgovic, who drops one spot. So one of the few guys who's actually dropping down in this month's update. Number 9 and 10 stay the same. Alexander Povetkin at 9, Michael Hunter at 10. They fought in December to a draw. Hunter struggling to get a fight, but as we know, Alexander Povetkin going to be facing Dillian Whyte on May the 2nd. Joe Joyce, he's up one place this month. He is up to 11th. Derek Chisora is also up one place to number 12. And here's sort of where it gets a little bit interesting, because Charles Martin enters the WBC rankings, hadn't been ranked. So he's at number 13. That's courtesy of him beating Gerald Washington on March 7th on the undercard of Adam Kovnarski versus Robert Helenius. And what's strange for me, and this is sort of what I was alluding to, is Martin, who wasn't ranked, beats Washington, who wasn't ranked, but becomes number 13. But Helenius, who wasn't ranked, beats number 6 ranked fighter Adam Kovnarski, but can't make the top 15. Helenius installed just outside at number 16. I was sort of thinking, if Charles Martin makes the top 15, beating a guy who wasn't in their top 15 previously, surely Robert Helenius beating number 6 would get him in there. But yeah, I don't know how that works. Obviously, there's been some decisions, and it didn't fall Helenius' way in terms of how high he climbed in the rankings. Number 14, this is an interesting addition. F.A. Ajagba, who was also on that March 7th card, he has been elevated into the top 15 for the first time, and I believe this is the first time he has been ranked in any sanctioning body. So his inclusion in the rankings is subject to him joining the clean boxing program. Anyone who's in the top 15 must sign up to that, which is sort of anytime, anywhere testing. F.A. Ajagba beat Razvan Kajanu on March 7th to get into the top 15 for the first time. And holding firm at number 15 is Ajit Kabayal. He has a fight on March 28th against Marius Wok in Germany. Whether that will go ahead because of, the situation at the moment in the world, we'll have to see. But yeah, the top 15, some interesting changes. Deontay Wilder comes in at number 1. First time he's been ranked in 5 years. You have Charles Martin coming in at 13. Daniel Dubois rises 4 spots to number 7. F.A. Ajagba ranked for the first time across any major sanctioning body. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.